Dámy a pánové, zbývá posledních pár minut do startu závodu na 20 km.
Well, welcome back to the European Athletics coverage of the European Athletics Racewalking Team Championships, coming to you from the Czech spa town of Podebrady. Here's the start list for the men's 20 kilometres. Well, we've already had 4 thrilling races, should say 3 thrilling races. We started off this morning with the men's and women's 35 kilometres, which saw a world record in the women's race. Maria Perez of Spain striding to a time of 2 hours 37:15. There's the Frenchman, Gabriel Bourdier. Nils Brembach on the start list, a man who's clocked 1:20.32 in his time. Well, he hasn't raced 20 kilometres this year, but Massimo Stano, personal best dating back to 2019 and the Italian record of 1:17.45. And you have to say he's expected to be in contention today. There's Diego Garcia, silver medalist at the European Championships in Berlin. Also a very fine record in this race. Bronze medalist at the last 2 European Racewalking Team Championships in 2019 and 2021. But here's the man who has to be the favourite. The only European in this race under 120 this year. Perseus Karlstrom, best of 1:18.07, as you can see. That dates back 4 years, but went to 1:19.27 at the Australian Championships in February when he went down there for a bit of high-class racing. And Karlstrom, of course, comes here as the two-time defending champion, I should say. Do pardon me. Completing the lineup, Adam Zašíček of the Czech Republic, the local star.
All the fantastic races and competitors čeká nás famózní podívaná a budeme zvědaví, kdo se zapíše do listiny.
There you can see the full lineup. Well, there's 48 men from 17 countries. And we saw a terrific race between the Greek European champion Stritan Piotti and the Italian Olympic champion Palmisano, and Tristian Piotti prevailing in the women's race. And Palmisano showing that she's back to form after missing the entire 2022. Hopefully we'll see something similar here in the senior men's race. Podebrady, of course, very much, as I've said earlier in the programme, a focal point for race walking in Europe. So just a bit of quiet as the walkers move forward to the start line. And we're away. 20 laps of this wonderful Lozensky Park, which has hosted so many great events. It's the venue for an annual race walking competition here, which attracts top-class race walkers from far and wide, from across the world, including all the top South Americans and Asian race walkers. It's the venue for the 1997 World Race Walking Cup, what's now become the World Race Walking Team Championships, and also not only in 2017 but last time as well in 2021 it was the venue for the European Race Walking Team Championships, as it will be in 2025. And it's Massimo Strano who's gone straight into the lead. No holding back from Strano. Bordier up there as well at this stage. Karlstrom probably back in about 4th or 5th place at the moment, but very much not being left at the gate. Fortunato, the Italian, up there as well. So 2 Italians showing right at the front at this stage in the race. And of course Italy taking the gold medal in the senior women's 20k race. The prize giving, the medal ceremonies will be after this race, a little bit later on this afternoon. So Strano straight into action for the Italian Olympic champion and European 35k, sorry, I should say world 35k champion, winning the 35k title on its inaugural appearance on the championship program in July last year. Splendid shot there of all the walkers in action. Well, Strano showed he was in good form just 3 weeks ago when he competed in Madrid at the European race walking event there. That was part of the World Race Walking Tour. Over 10k, clock 39.06, which is quick going. As we saw this morning in the women's race, it's warm out there. It's just a little bit past its midday peak, but it's at around 22 degrees. We saw a lot of the women walkers taking on plenty of refreshment, plenty of fluid, and getting cooling water and cooling sponges whenever they could. There's refreshment stations at around 700 meters around this course, about 300 meters from the finish line. Really showing his mettle at these early stages of the race. They've just gone through 1 kilometre, 3:54 for Strano, being followed very closely by his Italian compatriot Fortunato. Gabriel Bordier, one of the other men who might be an outside contender for a medal, the Frenchman, has improved this year. Select up there, so a big group at this stage. 3 Spaniards, Diego Garcia, Alberto Ramascua and Paul McGrath. Yes, McGrath really is wearing a Spanish vest. Irish father, Spanish mother, comes from the south of Spain. This quick early pace, well, 4-minute kilometres, you don't need to be a great mathematician to work out that that's 1:20 pace. So he's racing at the moment inside 120. And that is the benchmark of world-class 20-kilometer race walking. Karlström leads the European rankings this year with 1:19.27. Aurélien Quignon has also gone under 120 this year, the Frenchman, who finished 4th in the 35 kilometres. So he's not in this race. Bourdier is 3rd on that list at the moment. So Massimo Strano competes for the Fiamma Oro Padova club, now 31 years of age. Bit of a surprise to win the Olympic title, but followed that up and confirmed his standing as the man to watch out for with that 35-kilometer race walk title in Eugene last year. Prior to that, his only medal on the international stage was as a silver medalist in the European Under-23 Championships back in 2013. Holds the Italian record in the 20-kilometer walk. Possibly a bit too warm to get too close to that, although we did see national records in the 35 kilometers men's event, although that hasn't been on the books for so long. Of course, the longer championship race walk discipline just introduced a couple of years ago. Strano already piling it on. Just coming around. 100 meters or so away from the 2-kilometer mark. He's absolutely flying, is Strano. 7:47 at 2 kilometers. Not surprising. He's really strung out the field at these early stages. Fortunato 3 seconds in arrears. Karlström another 5 seconds further back. Nidzalek in 4th at the moment with 7:56. Well, the temperature has dipped very slightly from the heights that we saw in the women's 20-kilometer race. There's a whole group of club athletes as well from far and wide. Czech club athletes. To distinguish them, they are the ones with the white background on the bib. Just keep an eye on the guys who've got a blue background on their bibs. Oh, we've decided to change tack for this race. We don't have athletes with blue backgrounds on the bib. They've got a lime stripe, it looks like, at the bottom of it. So Jaromír Moravec, one of the emerging stars of Czech race walking. Moravec just turned 20. So it's just come out of the under-20 ranks, what used to be called the junior ranks. Strano at the moment operating at 1:17.5 minute pace. Maybe he is going after his Italian record after all, after that outing over 10 kilometers in Madrid. So after first kilometer of 3:54, thrown in a 3:53 kilometer. So this is a very quick start for Massimo Stano. Just pouring it on. There's one of the Italian team. Fortunato behind him at the moment. Fortunato finished 5th at the European Athletics Championships last year. Competes for the famous Fiammagale club. 9 times Italian champion, the man in 2nd place at the moment, as we watch the rest of the field come through. Karlström at the moment. Karlström comes here on the back of 2 previous European Race Walking Team Championship individual wins, including in Podebrady 2 years ago. Further back down the field. Also up there. Bourdier in 4th. I'm looking at my monitor. Diego Garcia in 5th at the moment. Strano has gone through 3 kilometers in 11:42. So that was a 3:55 kilometer, his last one. Fortunato hanging on, just 3 seconds in arrears with the rest of the field. Well, Karlström 11 seconds behind the leader at the moment. There's a few men there I don't think are keeping continuous contact. Fortunately, we don't know who the culprits are. No problem with Strano's technique. Just in case you were wondering, you're jumping in now rather than having seen the earlier races. Well, I'm sorry you missed 3 real thrilling races, but I will update you on some of the technical rules of race walking, in which case the 2 main transgressions are having a bent foreleg, known as a bent knee, and not keeping continuous contact with the ground. 3 red cards go in from the different judges around the course, from 3 individual judges. Then you end up serving a 2-minute time penalty, and the 4th one gets you disqualified. So Strano absolutely pouring it on at this stage. He's going to be well inside 16 minutes for 4 kilometers. David Kenny we just saw go through shot. Ireland's leading entrant. There's a couple of the Ukraine team members. Ukraine taking the team silver medal in the women's race just a couple of hours ago. But it's still Strano and Fortunato coming out of the shaded area on the course. Karlström at the moment in third place. So Strano, 15:39 at 4 kilometers. That's flying. 15:41 for Fortunato. Fortunato as a personal best, which he set here 2 years ago. Finished fifth on that occasion in a very quick race, slightly cooler conditions, 1:19:43. So Fortunato in second place at the moment, looking as though if he can keep this up, yes, there's another 15.5 kilometers to go, but he could be well on the way to a very good time indeed. As we scroll further down the list of athletes, Alvaro Lopez down in 20th place, so expecting him to feature maybe a little higher. Lopez, by contrast, terrific performance from the veteran Portuguese athlete in 18th place, João Vieira. Vieira now 47 years of age, still competing at the very highest level. So there's the Spaniards, McGrath to the fore. So crucial checkpoint will be the 5 kilometer mark. Stano racing well inside 20 minutes for that checkpoint at the moment. And he's just looking very, very comfortable indeed. Last year, in the wake of his 35 kilometer race walk title in Eugene, he struggled when it came to racing over this distance. Perhaps it was still in his legs, and only finished 8th at the European Championships in Munich. Alvaro Martin, who won that race, winning the 35 kilometer mark here. There you can see one of the judges dipping out and giving a warning. Not easy to see who the warning was for there. I think it was probably for Diego Garcia rather than Karlström. Wait and see. Filters through to our monitors. It does take a little bit of time before it gets back to the judge and then gets posted. A group of 4 behind the 2 Italians, Karlström, Bordier, Garcia, and up there as well, the good Turk, Salih Korkmaz. Korkmaz had a very good performance at those European Championships, finishing 7th. 10,000 metres World Under-20 bronze medalist back in 2016. The European Under-23 silver medalist at 20 kilometres in 2019. Has got some credentials. So 19:34 for Stano. It's inside 1:18 pace at the moment. Fortunato just a couple of seconds behind him, and then another 10 seconds back to that group of four led by Karlström. There's the rundown of the field. Grembach, who we saw earlier in the presentation, down in 16th place. Grembach has raced 1:22 this year, personal best of 1:20.32. Still Stano at the front, and everybody is being left in his wake at the moment. The man closest to him, Francesco Fortunato. Italy, of course, fantastic race walking tradition. They've won so many gold medals over the years. Think of the Olympic champion Massimo Di Milano. There'll be many, many others. Last Italian to win the 20k men's race at the European Race Walking Team Championships, or as it was, the European Race Walking Cup. Giorgio Rubino, in fact the only one, looking down my notes, Rubino the only man to win. That was back in 2009. Indeed, there hasn't been a medalist since 2009 in this event, but at the moment, the Italians have got two men in medal contention. Quite a lot of traffic in this busy race. Court clouds. Korkmaz, the Turkish record holder. But it's still the Italian record holder, Massimo Strano, out in front. He's seemingly starting to put a bit more of a gap between himself and Fortunato. Karlström, Bourdier, Korkmaz, that's 3-4-5 at the moment. Garcia in 6. I've seen Carrera there, but it is Diego Garcia Carrera. So Spain battling with Italy for team honours at the moment. Italy 1, 2 and 11 it looks like. Andrea Cosmi in 9th. The Italians have 12 points at the moment, and the Spaniards 21, with their men in 6, 7 and 8. That's the gold and silver in the team competition at this stage in the race. So Massimo Stano. Stano, 3:56 last kilometre, between 5 and 6 kilometres, now well into the 7th. some of the club runners, I should say walkers, although that don't wish to have trial by television. That did look a little bit like running. There's Bordier, so just getting sanctioned. No problems at all with the technique of Stano. The walkers have two options. They have their own individual drinks, which are staffed by members of their team and support staff, and there's also water and refreshment stations just a little bit further down the path. Those refreshment stations about 700 meters around the course, about 300 meters before you cross the line. Karlström already lapping some of the other competitors. So Karlström chasing the men in front of him, Fortunato, but this is the runaway leader at the moment, Massimo Strano. Coming up to the checkpoint for 7 kilometers, 7 laps undertaken, another 13 still to go. Unofficially, 27:28. That was with my naked eye. I don't always get it as right as that. 27:33 for Fortunato, 5 seconds in arrears. So he's at about 1:18.5 pace at the moment. Still fantastic walking in these conditions. Certainly on course for a European lead. Fastest time in the world. Zhang Yun of China. Taikang, the start of last month, 1:17.38. But after that, almost a minute gap to the best of the rest of the world. Fortunato, the tall, lanky figure of the Italian, still doing a fine job. Just looking behind him, I was wondering what that was all about. Maybe just a little bit concerned about what's going on behind him. A long way down the road. Now out on his own in third place is Karlström. Karlström has left Bordier, Korkmaz and Garcia behind. That was crucial for him. Starting to close on Fortunato. Took 4 seconds out of Fortunato on that lap as he moved away from Bordier. McGrath has moved up as well. Korkmaz has gone back over that last lap. Just looking at my monitor. There's a group a bit further back, including the Czech walkers, Ukrainian, Latvians in there. Well, the 3 Spaniards clearly working together. They've moved up as a block now. There you can see Strano still doing very well. Fortunato, just wondering whether he's just tiring just a little bit from that early pace. Puts him on course for a personal best around 1:19, looking at possibly lopping 45 seconds or more at this pace off his personal best. Karlström, Swedish record holder at 1:18.07, has gone 1:19.27 this year, as I mentioned, when he went down under and competed as a guest in the Australian Championships. There's Glennon of Ireland, having just been lapped. Can't say I would imagine what that feels like, even before you got to the halfway point. Glennon, established and very competent international, 19 years of age, has been around the under-20 circuit. Just to watch Massimo Stano flying past you must be a little bit demoralising. So, Gabriel Bordier has been reeled in by the three Spaniards. So 8 kilometres, 31:27 for Massimo Stano. That was a 3:59 kilometres, so slowing just very slightly despite this astonishingly high standard. There's Okala, the Finn. Fortunato at 8 kilometres was 4 seconds behind Stano. And Karlström, it's another 4 seconds. Pull back another 4 seconds on Fortunato. So Karlström well inside 1:20 pace as well at the moment. And of course, as we often say, the real racing begins in the second half of the race. And you find out what you've got left in the tank. So Strano and Fortunato, that's the 1 and 2 at the moment. You just see very briefly there in that long shot, Perseus Karlström looks to be closing on Fortunato and Strano in front of him. Didn't get fooled by this early pace, just raced his own pace. But now he's really starting to work hard. And maybe he's just decided that he doesn't want to let Strano have everything his own way in this first 10 kilometres. Karlström, well, huffing and puffing, but he's an established performer. He's done it so often at such a high level. Not least of which was winning this title in 2019 and 2021. Karlström also has the silver medal from Munich to his name. 3 World Championship bronzes. Finished 3rd in Oregon and Eugene before going on to silver in Munich over both 20 kilometres and 35 kilometres. Now 33 years of age, Karlström. So a couple of years older than the leader at the moment. So Strano has gone through 9 kilometres, 35:26. So a 3:59 lap again. Not quite as quick as his earlier laps. Still inside 1:19 pace. Fortunato 3 seconds back and closing all the time is Karlström. Karlström operating at a really high level but taking it steadily and has just very slowly started to close over the course of the last 3 kilometers on the two Italians in front of him. Bordier, McGrath and Azamakua walking as a block in 4, 5 and 6 place. Also coming through strongly has been Cozy over the last few kilometres. He's the Italian in 7th. We haven't seen much of him, but has moved up very steadily. Karlström now. Continuing to reel in the men in front of him as we gradually get towards the halfway point. There's Bordier. McGrath on his shoulder. There's Cozy back in 7th. And Diego Garcia in 8th. Kortmaz still very much involved. With Parton and the Finn, they're in 9th and 10th place. We just see them occasionally as the camera switches over. But Diego Garcia, two-time bronze medalist in this event, looking as though he's struggling a bit. See, you have to remember also a very illustrious record on the continental stage at the European Athletics Championships, with silver in 2018 and bronze last year. So 6th at the Olympic Games in Tokyo 2 summers ago. So does that look like Fortunato is getting close to Strano? Both of the Italians blowing. Undoubtedly Karlström. So tongue hanging out there, sweating profusely. It's still a very warm day. I'm amazed they're going at this sort of pace in this sort of heat. Karlström, what a competitor. He's gauged this race well. He's reeling in the two Italians without a doubt. Not far away from going through the finish line, which will be the halfway point, 10 kilometers. They turn around in front of the medal podium. That little bit of landscape gardening. 39:27. So still inside 1 hour 19 minutes. Karlström is undoubtedly closing. The gap is now down to 7 seconds between him and the two Italians. Fortunato on the shoulder of Massimo Strano. Just a bit further back. Diego, I'm going to say wrong Spaniard, Paul McGrath. 59.54 for McGrath. Outstanding run from, outstanding performance, outstanding competition from McGrath. Well, the Italians still in control of the team title with men in first, second and seventh. 3 Spaniards up there, 4th, 6th and 18. So they're in second place at the moment in the team competition. Spain, of course, took both the 35-kilometre men's and women's team golds as well as the individual titles this morning. There's the leading placings. Well, there's a lot of men in there in the top 10 who are on course for personal bests. Certainly likes of McGrath and Bordier are. They're not in the medals at the moment, but if they can come away from Podebrady with a personal best, that in itself will be good reward for their efforts this afternoon. There's Cossi in 7th place at the moment. So Fortunato, as they're lapping other walkers in the international competition, lapping Czech and Latvian walkers, taking on board some refreshment. Good heavens, I think they're going to need it in these conditions. Tidily disposing of their drinks bottles. Thank you, chaps. Now, Karlström puts in traffic, but he's very, very close to the 2 Italians, reeling them in with almost every stride. You can see almost coming up to be lapped by Karlström, the 2 Czechs, Borovek and Zasiek, walking together, giving themselves support. Kilometers. 43.24 for Fortunato. Stano nearly a stride behind him. Closing rapidly. Karlström now 5 seconds behind the lead. There's McGrath in 4th, from Barcelona. McGrath now 21 years of age. Italy at the moment defending their European race walking team championships title. Large gap between their victories though. 2009 led home by Rubino to 2021. And the Czechs. Still operating just inside 2019. It's worth mentioning now at this point in proceedings, I think the record, which stands to the Polish great Robert Korzanowski, 1:18.29. The European Race Walking Team Championships 20k record. Korzanowski setting that time in 2000, and the competition was in Eisenhüttenstadt in Germany. That was a prelude to him taking both the 20 and 50 kilometer gold medals at that year's Olympic Games. Now Karlström has got up on the shoulder of Fortunato and Strano and is now moving away. This looks like a very decisive point in this race. So we're almost 12 kilometers completed. And this, I think, critical move. That was a very quick kilometer by Karlström. Comes round to complete 12 kilometers. Southeast end of the park. 47.21 for Karlström. Well, he's taken 7 seconds out of the Italians on that lap. That was a 3:56 lap. Sorry, a 3:53 lap, even more impressive. Fortunato, 3:59. 3:59 as well. So now Karlström piling it on, trying to break the Italians. Strano looks as though he might be struggling now after that blistering start. Needs a lick. I think his day has come to an end. He's decided that's it. He's still got his sunglasses perched on top of his head now, blowing hard. Fortunato seems to have got his second wind. He's just tacked on the back of him. Going past one of the Finnish athletes. Doesn't look quite as focused as he was during that first 9 or 10 kilometers. losing ground on the leading men in front of him. Karlström leading the way. Fortunato, really good race. Fortunato, 5th in this competition 2 years ago. So Karlström comes through the line, 51.18. Fortunato hanging on for dear life. Now 8 seconds between the leading pair and the Olympic champion, Massimo Stano. So 3:56 lap from Karlström. Fraction quicker from Fortunato, a 3:55 lap. Still just a fraction inside. 1:19 pace for these two men in the lead. Korsanovski's championship record still certainly not out of the woods. Czech walkers still walking very close together. Moravec and Zasishek in front. Moravec, good strides behind him. Providing local interest. Really don't have a world beater at the moment as far as race walking is concerned. It's still very much discipline that they love. Down in the low 30s at the moment, according to my monitor. So Stano hanging on, he's losing ground as Fortunato decides it's his moment to strike. So Fortunato has chosen the 14th lap to make his move. Here's Fortunato coming through. Another 3:56 lap. Goes through 14 kilometers in 55:14. And Karlström can't stay with that pace at the moment. He's a couple of seconds back. Strano, he's disappearing into the distance. Strano now must be a little worried about what's going on behind him now. Whether Strano, now 17 seconds off the lead, will by his compatriot Francesco Fortunato and hang on. There's the situation with the cards at the moment. Nothing too dramatic. Only one card apiece. None of the big guns have been sanctioned so far. Now, Bordier is 21 seconds behind Stano. So now Stano has been weakening. The men behind him have been weakening that little bit more. As Karlstrom overtakes Kevin Campion, the Frenchman. Now Campion, very good race walker indeed. 5th at the European Championships last year, but not having his best of days. Campion at best. 1:20.28 man as we see him disappearing out of shot. As Karlstrom tries to hang on to Fortunato, who's making a real surge. This is a real critical part of the race. I wonder what's going through his mind. He's almost, as well as blowing, looks as though he's talking to himself. Now on the 15th kilometre. Looking at something just over 59 minutes, and that'll give us a good estimate of how things are going for him. Thrown in a couple of very good kilometres, and it's now Karlstrom having caught up with the leaders. Karlstrom got up with the leaders on the 12th kilometre. He's now watching Fortunato really work hard and pull away from him. Fortunato, it has to be said, looks reasonably relaxed at this stage. Well, a lot can happen in the last 5 kilometres, but Fortunato, with that surge in that last kilometre, taking the lead just before the 14 kilometre mark. So 59.09. Fortunato at the moment well on the way to a big personal best. Still looking at a time now inside 1:19. There's Strano. Just past the hour mark. So just under 19 minutes of race walking left for Francesco Fortunato. Can he hold his form? Hasn't picked up a red card yet as far as we know. Nor, it has to be said, has Perseus Karlstrom. Karlstrom, the 2-time defending champion at this European Race Walking Team Championships. Now 7 seconds behind this man. Drifting backwards. Stano now 25 seconds behind Karlström. Bordier in fourth. He's holding his form. Now Stano's weakening. Bordier is still in contention for a spot on the podium. McGrath and Masquer still in contention as well. It's hard at the moment to see anybody beating this man, Francesco Fortunato, unless he weakens badly in the final 4 kilometres. Perseus Karlström still not out of it though, and I'm sure the Swede is not going to give up his title without a battle. Well, just looking back, there's several two-time winners of this title, including Robert Korzanowski in 1996 and 2000, Francisco Fernandez in 1998 and 2003, but there's never been a three-time winner. So Karlström, if anything, has got that motivation. This is McGrath and Bordier. They're in 4th and 5th place at the moment. Stano, and lots of pictures from down the field, hopefully being able to tell you the story of this race. And the story of the race is Massimo Stano absolutely flew over the first 10 kilometres and then started to weaken between kilometres 11 and 12, caught by this man. Fortunato then has started to pull away in the last 2 kilometres from the Swede, who's the two-time defending champion. And they haven't been very busy in this race, the penalty area people. Nobody seen has gone into the penalty area. That's a good thing. Fortunato made a big breakthrough in 2021 and he had his first and today only time under 120. He's looking as though at the moment could be another time not just under 120 but under 119. 16 kilometres, 103.06. Karlström now 11 seconds in arrears, and Stano, well, Stano's still walking at more or less the same pace. It's just Fortunato is pouring it on at the front. Karlström doing his best not to make the deficit any bigger. Stano has a 19-second advantage over Bordier. Well, 4 kilometres is enough to make up that advantage, but Stano just needs to now keep focused. The Olympic champion and world 35k champion, and he'll be on the podium here in Podebrady. It's been an absolutely fantastic performance from Fortunato at the moment. Karlström starting to look just a little bit tired. He's still managing to hold his technique. It's a terrific rhythm as he goes past Mesut Demir of Turkey. Yeah. He's on course for personal best himself. He's got a personal best of 125.38, but he's a lap in arrears of the leaders. Fortunato still striding away. Tall, thin, long striding Italian athlete. 5th at the last European Race Walking Team Championships, but looks set to do so much better here. Karlström in camera shot, just passing the first set of tables. And it's Bourdier and McGrath battling away. Bourdier now starting to look tired, and McGrath moves into fourth place. Has McGrath got anything left in these final 3.5 kilometres that he can actually get up and get onto the medal table? Well, McGrath, who's European Junior 10,000 metres champion on the track, was an under-20 athlete 2 years ago in Boris. I remember commentating on that race. We were wondering where he'd come from, a terrific prospect. He's now starting to grit his teeth and wind in. Massimo Strano, the Olympic 20k champion. Bourdier, after looking a little bit ragged for a couple of 100 metres, looks as though he's gone through his bad spell, still grimacing, still hanging on to 5th place. So Fortunato, less than 12 minutes of walking still remaining for the leader, Francesco Fortunato. Through 17k in 1:07:04. So he's on 18:50 pace at the moment. It was a very slightly slower last kilometre. 3:58 kilometre. Stano just coming around to see 3 kilometres to go. There he goes. He's losing contention with every lap on the men in front of him. Karlström 15 seconds in a rear of Fortunato. Stano 36 seconds back on Karlström. The men behind him aren't making any inroads. Mascou's come through strongly. McGrath and Bourdier. We didn't see what Mascou did in that last lap, but he absolutely flew around it. 3:59 lap for Amaskua to move up to 4th place, overtaking McGrath and Bourdier in those last couple of 100 metres on that last lap. There's McGrath and Bourdier. There's Amaskua, who absolutely tore around that last kilometre. He's come to an end, I think, for one of the guest runners, guest walkers I should say. Here's Fortunato still striding away. Karlström doggedly hanging on in there. If he does get amongst the medals, it will be his 4th successive championship on the podium. Bronze in 2017, followed up by his 2 victories in 2019 and 2021. Here he is, just rounding the corner. Less than 8 minutes of race walking left. 2 laps to go. Francisco Fortunato. That was a 3:57 stint. Still looking at getting inside 1:19. Just a reminder, his personal best from this race 2 years ago, 1:19.43. So Fortunato looking at taking 45 seconds off his personal best. Karlström, it's not going to be a day of personal best for him, I don't think. But he's still looking like he could get very close to 1:19. Stano. Still hanging on in third. Mascua is really starting to reel him in. 6 seconds between Stano in third and Amezcua in fourth. Amezcua is going to make huge inroads into his personal best. Alberto Amezcua, been around for a long time. Comes from Guadix down in near Granada. Here's Perseus Karlström. Stano being reeled in by Amezcua. Amezcua having the race of his life. He's almost grinning. Not sure whether that's with rictus grin through the strain, or a grin knowing that he's got the Olympic champion in his sights. Stano. Still hanging on though. Can he keep Amezcua at bay for another kilometre? So this man is well on his way now to Italy's first 20-kilometre title since 2009. Battle between Amezcua and Stano. Well, I don't think many people would have had Amezcua up there as a medal contender. Probably they'd have been looking at Diego Garcia, who's got 2 bronze at the last 2 editions, or maybe the young, rapidly improving Paul McGrath. McGrath, former European under-20 champion, 10,000 metres on the track. But instead, it's Amezcua leading the way. He's attacking Massimo Stano. Back down the field a little bit. There's Karlström. Karlström's just gone through 19 kilometres. I tell you, that was a 4-minute exactly lap for Fortunato. So he's bang on 1:19 pace. I'm sure he'll try and up his pace a little bit, but he's got 22 seconds advantage now over Karlström. Stano still hanging on to third place. Seems who've got a bit of a second wind and has pulled away from Amezcua over the last couple of 100 meters. Stano, 6 seconds advantage over Amezcua in the battle for bronze. But here's the man out in front at the moment and looking very comfortable indeed as he's striding us away to the European Race Walking Team Championship Men's 20 kilometer title. Here's the man in second from Sweden, Perseus Karlström, 2-time defending champion. But it looks as though it's not going to be a hat trick today for Karlström. He's raced extremely well. It's going to be well inside 120, which, as I said earlier in the program, the benchmark of world-class race walking. But fortune favours the brave. And Mr. Fortunato took his chance, surged about 3/4 of the way into the race, and left Perseus Karlström, who looked at one stage as though he was going to race away from Fortunato, trailing in his wake. And 1.5 minutes still to go. Less than 500 meters to the line for Francesco Fortunato. All that matters now, he's pouring it on and taking more time off his personal best of 1:19.43. Well, his previous personal best came here at these championships 2 years ago on this course. I think he's going to be looking forward to coming back to Podebrady in 2025. Perseus Karlström, well, he was the winner here 2 years ago, and an admirable performance from the Swede. But he's not been able to stay with Francesco Fortunato over the final 5 kilometers. So as Fortunato rounds the bend for the last time. Applause from all the supporters of all the teams here. 17 countries represented in the senior men's. Very slight diversion just to pick up an Italian flag. But victory goes to Francesco Fortunato of Italy. Unofficially 1:19.01. Takes 42 seconds off his personal best. Congratulations from team officials. Oh yes, we know who you are. Perseus Karlström, winner in 2019, winner in 2021. The Swede will have to settle for silver on this occasion. Coming home 28 seconds in arrears. Official time for Fortunato now, 1:18.59. A great day for the Azzurri. And Massimo Strano, Olympic champion 2 years ago, European 35 kilometer champion last summer, bronze medal here. He pushed it so hard over the first half of the race. Here's a man out of the medals, but a big personal best for Alberto Amezcua. Well, Italy in first and third place. Let's see who the next Italian is. Too tired even to hang on to a bottle of water. Water being poured into him by volunteers. Now the Olympic champion good race. And he'll still stand on the podium. Paul McGrath. Well, McGrath gets personal best. Takes about 30 seconds off his time. So 3 personal bests out of the top 5. Coming through very strongly. That looks like Partnen of Finland. Well, he had a terrific last lap, Partnen. He was a distant 7th for a long time. Partnen gets personal best. Bordier. He briefly looked as though he was tired. Briefly looked as though he was recovering from his tiredness. João Vieira, 47 years of age. 122 for Vieira. Superb performance from the veteran Portuguese walker there. The oldest man, indeed the oldest athlete in this competition. Another top 10 finish for Vieira. Into 7th place at one stage. He lifted back, just waiting to see whether he can make it across the line. He was in 11th place at the bell. Kozzy may well have had to drop out on that last lap, which would be a terrible shame for the Italians. No, Kozzy does come through. We just missed him. Kozzy comes through in 11th place. I believe that clinches the team title for the Italians, just as they did in the women's 20 kilometre. Now it remains to be seen who gets the silver and the bronze in the team competition for the men's 20 kilometres. Spain. Kozzy just gets it by 1 point. Coming home in 11th place means that Kozzy provides Italy with a team title. 15 points, just beating out the Spanish by 1 point, with the Spanish having packed well with 3 men in the top 10. We didn't see Garcia come through in 7th place, having caught his second wind, picking up a place on that last lap. It was almost good enough to give Spain the team title, but the team title, just as with the women's 20 kilometre squad, will go to Italy. Just waiting for confirmation of who'll get the bronze though. France and Germany were in contention in the last kilometres. See how that unfolds. Finland not out of the reckoning either. Superb last lap from Partinen. Just wondering whether that'll be good enough to get Finland up onto the podium. Those are the 3 teams in contention for the bronze at the moment. We still haven't had third walker through for Germany or France. The rest of the walkers come through. Some of these men still have another lap to go. athletes there coming through. There's the Czech pair still walking together as we've seen. Apologies. Coming through on 26.37, personal best for the Czech athletes. Very tired walkers further down the field. Home in about 25th position, I think. Just looking at my monitor, yes he does. Very happy man. A bit further back, 30th. Well, now we've got a number of other countries through. Germany do indeed, I can confirm from my monitor, take the team title. Bronze medal, just beating out Finland. Just to confirm the team standings as we look at the rest of the results for the individuals. It's Italy with 15 points, Spain with 16, and Germany distant bronze with 45, just beating Finland, who had 49 points. Still athletes making their way around this Lazensky Park. Still a few men out there. A couple of notable names didn't finish. Kevin Campion and Lukasz Niedzolek, France and Poland respectively. Only one man disqualified so far, Marius Ziukas of Lithuania. One of the notable innovations with having that penalty area. There's been a lot less disqualifications in championship races. His friends all still come home. Mid-30s at the moment. Just gone through the picture. Alcevicius also just going through the picture at the moment. all just coming home, just in front of Batterfall of France. Well, with the medals decided in both the individual and the team competitions, I'm going to take a break from commentary now as the last few men in the 20-kilometre race walk come home. Join us again in about half an hour at 16:15 Central European time. And we'll commence commentary with the men's under-20 race. In the meantime, once every last competitor has come home, we'll have victory ceremonies both for the individuals and the teams of the women's 20 kilometres, which took place a little bit earlier. Join us again for commentary in about 30 minutes.
Italy, Antonio Parmisano. And the winner, the gold medal, with a time 1:29.17, just 1 seconds from Greece, Podebrady. These are the top three. Also, ladies and gentlemen, please stand up. The champion of Greece, Podebrady. Second place, the silver medal goes to team Ukraine. Team Ukraine. Ludmila Ola Sobczuk, Anna Szewczuk, Sofia Królewska. Są szczytnicy wyboru z najlepszych zawodników. 16 miejsce, a jeszcze wyjście zawodnicy. And the winning team comes from Italia! Antonio Parmisano, Antonio Podebrady, Aleksandrina Michaj, Anna Szewczuk. Drugie postawienie na 11 miejsce dominował Soczyn 21 roku. Jeszcze boiskiem 18 na Giorgio, która nie wykonała takie, bo jest uspěl tým šampiona. A na nás tedy samozřejmě čeká národní vítězek, so ladies and gentlemen, please stand down for the national anthem of Italy. Pokus o to vytvořit selfie úplně všech. Mezi tím si říkají, vytvoří své vlastní selfie. Ale nás samozřejmě čeká ještě jedno vyhlášení, protože 20-kilometrový závod byl ještě také oficiálním dalším ročníkem meetingu Juniorské kuře. Ladies, we still have one victory ceremony to come, so if I can please ask you to finish the photo session at the podium. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We have to go. We have to go. We still have some ceremony to come. We still have 3 ladies to go back on stage. Takže teď tedy dáme máme ještě oficiální vyhlášení meetingu. Ladies and gentlemen, we have one more victory ceremony to come because this race for 20 kilometers was not only the European Race Community Championship, but also a regular meeting here in Podebrady, another year of the meeting. So here are the top 3. Vítězství obsadila the 3rd place goes to Portugal, Ana Zavecinha. Její čas už jsme říkali, hodina 29:35, season best, nebo letošní maximum pro Portugalku. Druhé místo, the second place, goes to Italy and Antonella Parmisano. Hodina 29:11, 29:19. Another medal, another crystal prize. A vítězka, čas hodina 29:17, and the winning prize goes to Greece, Antigone Crispiotti. So of course, once again, we're going to listen to the national anthem of the winner. Takže ještě jednou národní hymna pro vítězku tentokrát řecká. Congratulations to the top three in the Podebrady race walking meeting. We hope to see you next year, ladies. Doufáme, že uvidíme tyhle tři dámy tady i příští rok, kdy to nebude zrovna evropský dílový šampionát, ale bude to opět fantastický chodecký meeting. Máme pro tuto chvíli vyhlášeno, teď je čas 16:05 a už za 15 minut budeme startovat další závod. Ještě nás čekají dva juniorské závody, vždy na 10 kilometrů a jako první přijdou na řadu chlapci junioři. In 15 minutes we will start another race of this program, Junior Man Race for 10 kilometers.
České spořitelny sportujeme se Spořkou, rozhýbeme každý rok téměř milion z vás. Skrze projekty zaměřené na děti, mládež i dospělé. Podporujeme amatérské i profesionální sportovce. Rozvíjíme sportovní vášeň v této zemi a pomáháme vám být díky zdravému pohybu ještě silnější. Vaše Česká spořitelna.
La marcha para mí es mi vida. Llevo más de 20 años practicando este deporte y bueno, es mi pasión, ¿no? Por lo que me levanto cada día con ganas de
dosažitelná energie znamená nezávislost České republiky. Měníme krajinu pro lepší život náš i budoucích generací tam, kde dříve probíhala povrchová těžba uhlí.